Hey, welcome back for another week, another update. Last week we had a bunch of records that I pushed through and was too much. I kind of bored myself in the end. I've tightened it a bit down, and I think I cut it in half what was originally planned. So I have a few fulls, a few splits, then some random records and a big bonus to round it off, which is still a lot, I know, but you know, manageable. Yeah, what we are listening to, there's not that much promo, but I would be remiss to not give this a shout out. Step Into the Black Pentagram by Forbidden Temple, the Belgian duo. They dropped their full length yesterday on Gramschap after a bunch of demos and EPs. It seems the Belgian bands stay in the demo phase a bit longer than normal bands maybe, but for good reason, because this is an excellent full length. European Greater Glory Media, the offshoot or the shop from Gramschap, and then this is still available, the full length. I think the EP, the Demo 2020, is unfortunately sold out. They will both pop up on the tape delay, but for the American crowd there are copies on the way to Nuclear War now, it seems. Okay, that's it. That's what we're listening to. Then for the first three, or for the first part, is three full lengths, and this is the first one out of Canada. This is NÄCHTLICH with Satanas Solum Initium Est. I have no idea what that means, but here you go. The second, I think, full length after a full length on Night Vision, Livre Mortis, those kind of labels, tape version and LP version. Then a bunch of EPs, compilations, and they actually have a lot of stuff. But they were one of the bands that when I was into or getting into the raw black metal, or coming out of the raw black metal phase that I had, 2017, 16, 18, I'm not sure. I was kind of burned out on the sounds. Same with Hand of Glory, I talked about that. But then started listening back 2 or 3 tapes ago, the one that was on Black Gangrene, same for the full length. And yeah, it definitely clicked last year with the Grundhider split that was on the EP list for that year. This is the new full length. As with a lot of the raw bands, this got pulled up a bit out of the really raw sound, the intentional poor recording quality, if you will. And this is a very mid-paced record, I would say. Very swampy, very basic, not much details, not much frills, but a very fun record actually. There's gong sounding synths, there's a scream, and then it kicks into the record. Yeah, a simple swampy drum beat, as you can see by the cover, which is excellent. It's one of the first times I actually saw corpse paint without the white, so something weird there. And there are a bunch of weirdos. I think this is the vocalist, the one with the candelabra. Very unhinged vocals, as I heard in previous outputs, but I think it's even more mental in this one. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 tracks on here, so yeah, they're second or third full, I'm not sure. The rawness in the production, the rawness in music actually comes through in the faster parts, which there are a bunch of faster parts, but they shine in the middle swampy parts. I saw people compare it to old Abigor, Azazel, that kind of stuff. It gives me Les Légions Noires vibes, but that's basically because of the cover and how they look actually. But yeah, the last track revealed the final key, I think, or was it That Beyond the Oblivions? I'm not sure, one of the two. Kind of had this, if you have the Gape stock keys and then you put the intensity of something like a Palemore, for example, so you have that weird combination. So it goes all over the place, but very, very recommended. And after, slacking them off a bit here and there because I couldn't get into the sound after the split with Grundhider, and now this one, on top of the especially Canadian scene, but yeah, more the entire raw scene. Some weird logo sign on the back, which also comes back on the the lyric sheet, and there's only one track on here, and that is the title track. There we go. Very nicely made and produced by Black Gangrene Productions, which is, yeah, a mark for quality, if you will, and I will. So that's the first one. Like I said, I select them off here and there, but what I learned for myself is that I should, excuse me, listen more instead of, you know, thinking what shit would sound like. So yeah, definitely worth picking up. I think it's possible to get copies still. I'm not sure. It should be in distros here and there. Then, speaking about raw black metal, this is maybe some of the raw stuff ever, and then still, I would say. Got this from Signal Rex, but this is put out through Satanic Requiem, which is an offshoot of Final Agony Records in America. Now, I don't need to present Orgy of Carrion, although we haven't talked about them in a long time. Another band that has EPs and demos out of the ass, but this is only their third full length. Let's see, I've written down because they are long titles and I always forget. First one was Everlasting Blood of Night, and then Obscured Ceremonies Under Hell Moon, which were as unhinged as you would like. This is maybe the flagship label of Perverse Homage. I think also the people behind that label that were really on top of their game and the game, I think about 2 years ago. They're still not very active or less active, but they're still putting out gold with the Voyeur's Blood, for example, which I'm listening to constantly for something I'm doing with Boltzhaven, I'm sorry, but yeah, I'm rambling again. This is Orgy of Carrion's new full-length Thine Origin, Incest and Death. Quite the title, I know. But yeah, it is, once again, it starts with shrieking feedback. It has hints of grind in there, but it's always raw black metal. It's very punishing, very vile sounding. The vocals are completely cacophonic, deranged, if you will, even more than something like NÄCHTLICH is. But yeah, they have an insane output and it's not stopping. The weirdest thing on this thing is the pentagram with the rabbits. It took me a while to see the rabbits, but yeah, I don't know where that's coming from. The Open Depths, a willing embrace, clawing through the womb of Earth's broken infinity, chasing the fire beyond, window of and into mind, and Thine Origin instrumental. That window of into mind, I'm not sure why it's stuck in my head, but it's a song that popped out for me. At least, did I write it down? No, third full lengths, recorded 2018, 2019, so some time ago. And what is maybe different on this from the other two is that the bass is very audible, so it's very raw and cacophonic, like I said, but it's at the same time there's a bit more melody into it, and the bass kind of gives it that pushing rhythm that you need to get it out of the murky sound. I would compare it to it's maybe Carved Cross on speed, something like that, murk wise. There you go. The vinyl is, as per usual, it is either red or black. This is black. I think this was only black, and then the very cool logo by Satanic Requiem. They have done a bunch now. I don't know why it's an offshoot from Final Agony, why they need another label, but there you go. I don't see a line through all the releases, but yeah. There is a lyric sheet that came with it, but most of the lyrics are, there is drops, I assume blood on there, and then, you know, torn away, so you can read half of them are obscured. I think that is not by accident. What is in here? The Satkraj we talked about last week. So yeah, that was the second full length for tonight. And then the third lyric sheet. Let's see. There we go. Nights Majesty. This was part of a order I did from Babylon Doom Cult, and I think the entire split section for this video is also from Babylon Doom Cult. Knight's Majesty with Ceremonial Whispers. This is one of the latest masterpieces out of the Black Plague Circle. I think a 4-piece with the usual suspects, but it is completed with a Greek drummer. I'm not sure what band he's in, but yeah, another masterpiece. It starts, the guitar is very tremolo picking, old 90s worship, if you will, but it has a very percussive element to it, or a very percussive sound to it, in the riffs, or in the style of playing, I would say. The vocals on this one are actually, again, different from from a lot of the bands that are in the Black Plague Circle. These are, you have the howling shrieks of Obscuritatum, you have the void prayer voice that is grand and booming, especially on the last few records, but then you have this one, which is very up close and personal, very very almost talkative instead of screaming, and then that stoic deliverance of the vocals really gives it that ritualistic feel. And yeah, it's a very good record. Track-wise, there was one that really stood out. The War of Howling Storms, I think, I'm not sure, but yeah. Another beast of a record. Production-wise, once again, it is not the Obscuritatum style, it is more the Void Prayer style, but it kind of blew me away. I knew it was going to be good, but not as good as this. It has Nietzsche-esque vocals, a lot of God is dead, God remains dead. But yeah, it is not cliche, to say the least. Came out on AOTY, I think last year, but I could be mistaken. All these records are in the Babylon Doom Cult pile, because he was holding records for me that I was, piling on. But yeah, very good one. Is there a lyric sheet? Yes, there is. Here you go. Track list. There we go. An AOTY will pop up later in this video, of course. So yeah, the sound unravels a little bit here and there, especially in the slower parts. It becomes more unhinged and wilder, if you will, especially the vocals. Yeah. It has those adventurous, glorious riffs here and there, especially in the War of Howling Storms, the third track, which I was describing. And it, center labels, what it does is, or what that track does, in the middle of that track, it has these solos by the guitarist, but instead of pushing the solos in the front, they just have this, they go by the way, they fall maybe into the depth, like if you have this cavernous production, the echoes are in the back, or they keep dropping into the abyss, which kind of fits the whole God is dead aesthetic and staring into the abyss. So yeah, it all kind of fits. Very good production. There is no key on this, or no keys, which also makes it kind of stand out in this modern new black metal landscape. Did I have everything? Yeah, I think so. It has a big ambient outro, which makes it a bit more reminiscent of modern black metal, but it fits and it works for the entire record. So 3 recommendations: Orgy of Carrion, Nächtlich, and the last one, which I was blanking on, Knight's Majesty. And there you go. Did I say the title? Ceremonial Whispers, which is kind of fitting for the vocal style and the aesthetic of the band. That was part 1, The Fools. The Fools. Next are 3 splits, and then into some weirder records. I'll see you in part 2. The splits, and the first split is linked with the Knight's Majesty. This is the Sulfuric Night Bordas Rope split on probably Black Gangrene. No? Yes, of course. It seems AOTY and Black Gangrene are back on a tear. This came out once again, last year. I think these are all catching up records. I have 3 splits equally great, so let's dive in. First one is Sulfuric Night, Bordas Rope, like I said. Does it have a title? No, it's just the band names. 2 tracks each, To Those Who Slumber Eternally and Passage to the Soul's Final Rest, I think. The Fading Levin Within, Jesus, something, Cold Blood and Bitter Hearts, Rohan's Devastation and Triumph Through the Essence of Mahabenzi. Mouthfuls. The first one, Sulfuric Night, is once again from the Black Plague Circle. One of the solo bands from O is, or he is behind this one. I was a huge fan of the Forever Cursed record that dropped, I think, about 2 years ago now. These are very good tracks. It's still on point, but I adore the Forever Cursed so much. The boldness in that production and the high standards that I hold for those tracks or for that record kind of overshadow everything he has done. There was a Candelabrum split, which I really liked. I really love this too, but do yourself a favor and go listen to Forever Cursed. The first track, you will know exactly what I'm talking about. Perfect riff there. But yeah, let's talk about this. So 2 new tracks. I have no idea where they are situated. Are they in for the full, behind the full? I don't know. But yeah, they have these. There's a Scandinavian influence, but for both, I would say. But they do something in their very own way. I think the Sulfuric Night has always had that haunting atmosphere, and it still shines through in this one. The vocal style is a bit different, but it could be due to the production. It has that kind of that longing sound, death worship, and it kind of feels a bit depressing. This depressing sound here and there, but 2 very good tracks, like I said. And yeah, it's all about atmosphere. The Bordas Rope tracks, bit the same as with NÄCHTLICH. It took me a while, or it still is taking me a while to really get into it. It has that jangly Americana-esque sounds in the guitars. It has the production, sort of a bedroom production. You can really imagine him sitting in a room and just playing those songs just for him. Very honest sounding records. Yeah, very stoic drumming, and that in contrast with the covers he usually does, or the pictures he usually takes. I still like the picture where he's standing on the rocks the best, but this is a close second favorite. This is the Bordas Rope side, and this is the Sulfuric Nights, recorded 2020 to 2021. All instruments and vocals, so it seems that they are new tracks. Same for Bordas Rope, which is recorded November 2020. That's not new, but I forget 2021 sometimes. Nord, all instruments and vocals. So yeah, 2 bands that are very worthy of doing a split together, because they kind of go for the same thing, but or coming from complete different directions, which is very good for a split. Favorite side, I have to give it to Sulfuric Nights. You can't pick favorites, but let's do it anyway. Yeah, I am very looking forward to another full length, but I don't know how fast that is coming with everything that's going on in the world, and he's even closer to the troubles because he is texting me right now about our last video with the Ja, bitte Atomkraft. Which seemed very appropriate last week. Anything else? No, the only tip I have was to also check out the new Shadow Dungeon, the Gazgarein, I think, which is coming out on vinyl or tape somewhere in the near future, which is another project of him, which is excellent. A totally different sound than the previous output, but yeah, still very good. Second one is on Amor Fati finally a different label, German label. And this is the split between Gnipa Hallan from Sweden and Evil Feast from Poland. Two long tracks, I think around the 15-16 minute mark. One is called Storm Afka Nordisk Doodskunst, something like that, part 2. And then Black Witchcraft over Carpathia, where the wolves are from. Yeah, two bands that I once again hold very dearly. The Gnipa Hallan is the Ancient Records stable, and then the Evil Feast is a entity upon himself, one-man project. I'm still not sure if it's drum computer, but it always sounds like it, and it's the ferociousness and the up-tempo and the barrage that the drums are on this split kind of pushes it in a drum computer territory, but I could be mistaken. The Gnipa Hallan track is a long track straight out of the Ancient stable. Svarta Dautus, of course. It's been some time since that name fell on this label. On vocals and guitars, AP session bass and KP session drums. Written in 2016 and then recorded between 2016 and 2019. Very storm-like, hissy production, but still very clear. Yeah, and like on the Orgy of Carrion, the bass really shines too on this one. AP, seems session bass, kind of brings a new level to the Gnipa Hallan sound with once again a very melodic, meandering bass, something like you would hear in Alkredil maybe. The riffs are melodic yet very squealing, and then there's these snake-like vocals that just slither through the entire thing. But he also has those for very low talkative vocals that go through it, so the combination between them is very good. Long track, but it doesn't get boring. Same for Evil Feast. And I think I have to give the edge to Evil Feast on this one because it's a huge sound. The drum sound is incredible, maybe a bit overbearing, but it has those icy crystal synths running through it that that make it lighter in sound or something. Then there are these clean breaks within the song. He plays this riff and then it's on a dime stop, it twists, it goes into another direction. There are 3 big parts. There's one that is just a very fast, huge booming sound. Then you have it sounds like the awakening of winter. You hear this icy synths that just build up this ambient part, or this almost dungeon synth like part, and then it just explodes into the second part that pushes the guitar more forward and the synths more back, and you get this droning very hard riff that just keeps falling in and out of the song, and then it just drives the entire thing. Very, very good tracks, and like I said, very lengthy. Tunes and morbid poetry written by Evil Feast, blah blah blah. Various sessions in 2019, so Evil Feast is Grim Spirit, of course. Vocals, strings, synths and drums. Lord of the Winter Woods and the Night Sky over Carpathia. There you go. It has roots in the Polish scene, of course, the sound, but it has that Evil Feast stamp, and this is bringing me back to the entire catalog, so I need to dive back in, starting with the demo from Medieval Prophecy, which is being re-released on vinyl, if I'm not mistaken. Record-wise, it is very standard black split with double logos on top. It is Amor Fati, so it is quality, but it's basic standards quality, nothing too fancy. But what record of the Ancient stable is fancy? There's maybe the big fold-outs. We are going to... Svarta Dautus didn't make an appearance this year. This is the first one, but I think it's going to be his year because a few bands are calling it quits. I think the Gnipa Hallan, maybe the Buket. The Ancient site is predicting a few, I think 3 releases for Buket Neximu, and then they call it quits or something like that. So there's a lot of stuff going on. As Alyssa said, same deal. So we'll see what it will be, but it's going to be a Ancient overload, and if it's their swan song, it's going to be good, I guess. Then the last split is this one, and this is finally from Babylon Doom Cult themselves, this is the Hellrune and Gevreesde Ziekte, which is feared disease, I guess, literal translation. I wasn't a big fan of the split in the first, when it first got announced, because I was hoping for just an EP from Hellrune that deserved this full concentration, because as we know, splits can be leftover tracks or stuff that he had laying around just to get a split out, but that is definitely not the question for both, I would say. De Gevreesde Ziekte, I don't know too well. I know Zwaardgevecht, the tape label from Holland, did the tape that had 2 tracks, I think Zwartgallig and Zelfhaat, I'm not sure, that had 2 tracks of this on the tape, which was considered kind of a demo. So he did put all tracks on here and then just added a track. Sound-wise, I think I've written down that the initial, the drum does this weird stutter that kind of reminded me of Lugubrum, but that disappeared instantly. Kind of has a Juvia sound here and there, but without the ethereal, long spun out stuff. And then Wardem Rife a bit here and there. But the thing that stood out the most is Verwoed, the other Dutch band, but that's maybe because they're audible Dutch lyrics that just links it up. Hellrune, on the other hand, is, yeah, once again smack on it. The full length that came out, I think last year on not Nuclear War now, on New Era Productions, was one of the records of, I think it was in my top 20. Great production, great sound. The record looked incredible. The guy looks like he was in Gorgoroth in the mid 90s. This guy. But yeah, there's a demo from 2016. There's a promo from 2020. So there's a lot of stuff out. I haven't heard it all, but the full length was incredible. It has this Finnish-esque sound. It has touches of folk, not the hair-raising cringe folk you hear on some records, but just very small touches in the guitar work here and there. There's a violin, I think, here and there, but also not the usual folk-style violin you would hear play. It is very good. Yeah, on Invincible, I think that track is. Mijn Ziel aan de Duivel, another great track. He switches between English, Invincible is English, Mijn Ziel aan de Duivel is a Dutch lyric, and then for We Rush Ahead, the third and last track, which is definitely my favorite. It starts out with this nasty sounding riff, and then it takes the track into just explode. So I would consider this more an Hellrune EP than a split, but yeah. Another very good output by that man. There is no inserts or anything. It is once again just center labels. I kind of don't like this one because it already reminds me of so many things, just those branches logos. Yeah. Then here is the man himself from Hellrune. I'm not sure what his moniker is or what he goes by, but yeah. Great outputs, and I'm looking forward to see even more by him, maybe another full length, or I don't know. But yeah, those were the splits. I have 4 more standout full lengths, and then we go into the special bonus, and I'll see you in part 3. Okay, part 3. Yeah, let's dive in. 4 records that are full length EPs, but just standout records. The first one is Nocturnal Triumph with their self-titled third full length. I think they are all considered full lengths. The first one was Into Light's Graven Womb from 2016. That was on Go to Warx. Then The Fangs of Mysteries Past, which was also on Go to Warx, which I sadly never found because it's, I guess, elusive or too expensive to get. Now they made the decision with this one to jump to Amor Fati once again. Second time this one shows up. And it's widely available for once. What does it says? The ghost is pervasive. It follows and frowns, torn by infinity into shards of the holy. That is the text that has accompanied this. Why am I reading that? Because that's basically all the info you will get from this record or from this band. The only thing I know is that they were on Go to Warwick's, that they are on Amor Fati now, and that they are from the US, but that is basically it. I never really heard the second one just because I'm a little bitch, and when I don't get my way, I just, you know, start pouting, and I never gave it the time of day. The first record is a very good record, and what's even more elusive than the Nocturnal Triumph is the label that it came out on, that is Spectral Moon. Yeah, a tape label that Go to Warwick's picked the vinyl versions up, and I'm hoping we can get Danny on the phone soon to talk about one of the things, talk about Spectral Moon, and see what he knows. So that is coming up. We also have 2 new Grondwerk guests that are confirmed. One is Pede, The Return, and the other one is Johan from Allergie Brut, which will be a very good talk, but more on that later. Yeah, what to say about this? It's called Nocturnal Triumph. It sounds kind of triumphant. It's a very good record. I hear it. It is the prolonging of the first one and probably the second one. Very good, very well played. The vocals are a bit different than the standards things we talked about. Everything is a bit different, but yeah, it all clicks, it all jams, it all flows very well. The Hammer of Immateriality, I think, Beneath the Reigns of God. Oh, where the, I don't know, glimmers in weight? I'm not sure. Torn by the weight of reversal. It is all very nicely written down, but it's a very hard font, as per usual. They were so kind as to put in a sheet, but it is more of just confusing text or parts of the lyrics, and then just green. A very nice green, but that's it. It is one thing to worship God and quite another to follow the path that I have taken, which I really like that sentence. Amor Fati, so it's all very nicely done, flooded in black quality, but that's basically all I can tell you. Maybe we can get some more out of Danny, but yeah, I was saying readily available, but I think Amor Fati has sold out already because a lot of people were waiting for this one, me included. But it should be in distros here and there. What is in distros here and there, and I forgot to say, is the Knight's Majesty. Alter still has it, and it's in every distro, so do yourself a favor and pick that one up too. We are basically, not basically, we are also, I forgot to say, we switched from Forbidden Temple to the Halaruin sites, so you can hear for yourself that I wasn't blowing smoke up his ass. There you go. Then, speaking about Danny and speaking about Go to Warwick's, these are 2 of the previous batch that dropped, I think, about a month ago now. I didn't order from Danny or no full lengths. I ordered a Warped Skull and then the Black Putrescence 7-inch just to keep, you know, customs and money in my pocket. But then Phantom Lure, the Belgian label and Belgian distro, had some of his stuff in in the shop, and I opted for this one. This is Ebony Pendant with Garden of Strangling Roots, and I'm going to take my notes for this one. The first thing that pops up when you look into these records is that it's an American one-man project. I talked about it when the last one showed up from Asrach. It is very honest, not raw per se, but once again, like the Bodaschoop, maybe that bedroom home studio playing. It is very, yeah, you can almost hear the pick rattle on the strings. That's how clean it is recorded, I would say, or how bedroom-y it's recorded. It's a squiry guitar, very calm delivered vocals going over it, and it always gets the comparison or the thing that it is Judas Iscariot, not adjacent, but it's and also not worship. But if you go to one-man American, you just land on Judas Iscariot, and I don't think he would be very angry about that comparison. Yeah, very close-knit playing style. Also the production, it is a tiny sound, but it is yeah, that's what makes it so special, I think. There is not a punk riff on here. This is just pure USBM, as it should. The cover doesn't really show up. It's kind of dark, but it has, yeah, what does it have? It has knights on horses going through, yeah, the garden of strangling roots that are trying to get them. But of course, with the obi, it is very beautiful. SC and then KM, so it seems he got help. I'm not sure if the drummer is the helper. I think so. But yeah, beautiful release by AOTY. You can say what you will about the label, but the quality is always there. Music written and performed, recorded by SC, September, November 2020 in Seattle, and then drums performed by KM. There you go. Album covered by Gustave Doré, the master himself. Record-wise, I think there was a green version, if I'm not mistaken. I got the distro black version, which is fine by me. I am not hunting for special colors anymore these days. I only like a special record when there's something extra on it, or extra material, if you will, and a color here and there. The sleeve, AOTY, Viva Angel Press, 2002, Beijing. And then there is some promo material from the Phantom Lure, Old Nick, and the Friendly Moon. I think I saw this go up this week. And then what's this? Ernest Owl, which I kind of liked. Victorian Spectre. I don't, like I said in previous videos about that label, I don't know. This one I got from him, and that will show up. And there we go. So yeah, a lot of colorful promo material. But yeah, Ebony Pendant, if you can get your hands on it, it seems his distribution is getting better. I know the earlier tape versions and stuff like that were almost impossible to get on the second-hand market. Yeah, cheers. Some lubrication from that same batch, and coming back to Belgium. We started in Belgium with Forbidden Temple. This is another project out of the young black metal scene in Belgium, I would say. And this is Altered Heresy with, I'll tell you the title in a bit, but it's not on the cover. It has the same promo material as the other one, because this also came from Phantom Lure, but a bit later. When I ordered this, I started talking to the guy, and it's called All Dimensions Opened by, no, that's not true. It's called Cloak and the Drape of Darkness. I'm pretty sure. There's a lot of text, but yeah. I started talking to the guy from Phantom Lure, and then it seemed he still had a copy of this, which I gladly took him up on, because I've been in love for some time with this project. I'll tell you the title for real now, because I finally found it. Dimensions of Eternal Blasphemy Ordained in Satanic Majesty. There you go. Really busy, but great cover with the obi strip. I love the wolf and moon crest he has going there. His photos are always on point. How I got to know Altered Heresy is basically by accident, because when I was frequenting the Iron Bonehead site a few years ago every day, I kept an eye always on what the Belgian artists were. And one of the artists that popped up was the first demo of the self-release by Altered Heresy. I just picked it up purely because it was on was a Belgian band. Then the second demo was the same story, but then on New Era. And now he is kind of becoming a name, having releases on Atrocity Altar, I think, did the tape version, and then this on AOTY. And Phantom Lure was so kind as to bless me with the tape split with Spider God, which I still have to listen to, but yeah, all in good time. There you go. I'll show the picture one more time because I like it a lot. I have no idea who is behind this. I have no idea if he's in another band. I know he's linked to the Gramschap label for a tape release that came out that I just acquired together with the Forbidden Temple stuff, but yeah, more on that later. Sound-wise, it is very weird. It is very raw in production, but it still has a almost huge symphonic sound. Not like Dimmu Borgir, but just very expansive, almost like a Black Celeste candelabrum, but it has that hissy raw production, that very cavernous, but it's more fucked up. It is not psychedelic, but it just, there's so much going on that is insane. The vocals are very upfront, almost in your ear, very tortured, snarling and growling. And yeah, it's a very good record. It's all demo material, there's no full, even this one is not a full length, even though it has 7 tracks on there. But yeah. Track 7, which is called 6, I hope you follow, trust me, is a bit different than the rest because it has that 80s death rock, a bit of industrial influence, which gives the entire thing another spin. That just, yeah, it's hard to keep a line in this record. But all of his stuff was, yeah, on the verge of being black metal, being a bit of industrial noise, power electronics on the first releases. So I have to go back to them to really hear and to see if I was right on these releases. But yeah, Altered Heresy, check it out. He is from Belgium, so I give him the edge, but I always enjoyed what he was doing just because it's not basic black metal. Let's keep it at that. Then the last one for the bonus content. This is Nitstong, I think, with Nordurikit. There you go. I am blanking. I think he's from Iceland, but I could be mistaken. What this is the EP by this young and talented guy who has corona now. So we, the White Filth team, wishes him well wishes and a healthy recovery. I think he's out of the weeds by now. This is on Rabau. I think that's a Belgian label, but I could be mistaken because I'm mistaken all the time. As you can see by the layout and the way it looks, and the lettering, it is Nidhogg worship, but with a more modern, more open sound twist. That's what I would call it, especially side A. Side B, and it splits into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tracks, and then 1, 2, 3 tracks are dungeon synth-esque, if you will, on the B side. Very young guy that is Dead Cult. He has Dead Cult relations with his other band that I'm blanking on. And this is the man himself. One-man project. There you go. Very good. He has a Tom Hat shirt, so you know where the influences lie. This one also came through Phantom Lure, I think. I'm not sure now. I think so. Very clean looking Iceland labels, or Snowland, I would say. But yeah, yeah, it's good. I mean, I like it. I'm not sure if it's for everything. I'm not 100% sold on the dungeon synth material, but that's just because I don't like dungeon synth too much, and it's not the cliche dungeon synth. It's in the ambient realm, and that's where we're going to go with the next chapter. We are going to do the Old Tower bundle, so sit tight and we'll be right back. Hey, part 4, the bonus round, if you will. We are still listening to the split with Halloween, and this is the 3rd track I was talking about with the very dirty, sludgy riff. Before we dive into the Old Tower content, I'm going to do the White Filth tip. Bling, or bling, I don't know where it's coming up. It had me laughing last time. Thank you, Adams. The tip for today is you will probably be too late, and that's my fault because this is going up Sunday, but Alter had the new drop of 3 new records, which you can buy in a bundle. I hope it's still up, which is basically very affordable for 3 records. It was 40, I think, 40 euros. The first one is the Solipsism with Cruelty and Necrospection, and that's this one. Tape on Atrocity Altar. Then the Empyrean Grace Bestowment of Seraphic Key, which was on Aresis Noviomagi, one of the Turia crew. And then the last one is Kernila Pacte, the self-titled EP from Wagner Ødegaard, his folky, post-rock, post-punk project, if you will. And this is the re-release of that full, but then with the EP thrown on and, you know, better production, whatever that means. So yeah, that is the tip of the week. Then the Old Tower package. It is on Hospital Productions. That means it had to come from the States. Now, I hear a lot of people, because I talk to a lot of people about especially these new records. A lot of Europeans are waiting for them to become affordable, I guess. I bit the bullet and just ordered through a relative of mine, Anna Rose, thank you very much, who lived in New York. Hospital is in New York. So I had them shipped there, and she just forwarded me the package. It was still expensive. It was like $140, I think, but what you get is a lot. Plus, if you have to buy all the records separately in Europe, you're still paying the same amount, because these records are like 30, 40 each. And we're talking about 3 to 4 records. So if you have the opportunity, if you have someone in the States and you want this, my tip was, or is, get it from the label themselves. They still have all the bundles, and you have everything in one package. And that package is what we're going to show now. I'll start with the regular stuff, or the stuff that is, you know, CDs. We don't do that a lot, but hey. Bit of a commercial for them. Geography of Hell, Verdun, 1916. It's all World War stuff, it seems. Kind of fitting. But yeah, the first thing is the Old Tower Tales of the Mad Moon. And this is, does it show up? There you go. Nice foil stamped, the Mad Moon that Spectre created. This is the Grim Alchemy, the complete 7-inch trilogy with bonus tracks. The Plague Harvest, cassette recordings of the Dying Fields, Ruination, The New Dawn, Comet, A Chapter Lost, A Cycle of Alchemy, Astrology, and Arts, which is a double CD, and it's all very nicely produced, if you will. And there you go, nice and shiny. Folds open as if Old Tower, it's always on point, you know what I'm saying? These are paintings by, digital paintings by the Spectre, which are always very cool. They used to be on Instagram, but they, like everything Skierijk, disappeared off the net, which is a shame, but I see what they are doing or where they are coming from. Comes with a booklet, or no, a poster. There you go, with some info stuff on the back. That's the CD. And then the new full, the Old King of Witches, they also put in a CD version. Spot gloss, the lyric, the title, and the band name. Really cool pictures by Nona Lieben, or Lieben. It is kind of sad that they didn't use more of the pictures she took, because they're all glorious. They're on her Instagram account, and if I think about it when I'm putting on the bookmarks, I'll try to link to that page. Also comes with a booklet, but that will be shown when the vinyl version pops up. So yeah, the new one. The bonus tape that came with it, and this is the newest in all his releases, is the Triton Reef Spires, and this is kind of a bit of a department. Is that the way you say it? He departs the dungeon since, I'll talk about it when the other comes, but this is a new chapter, and this is inspired by the subterranean sea world, if you will. But yeah, I don't know how many tracks are on here. I was going to say 3, but I don't know. There you go. It's kind of stupid. I think that Hospital has a lot of say in this tape, or in the entire artwork, because there's a lot of Hospital stuff going on here, which kind of stands in opposition to the Old Tower stuff here and there. But when it works, it works. When it doesn't work, it doesn't work with that. Blue tape, blue everywhere. Waterworld, Old Tower, if you will. What we're listening to now, because Helleroen died, Friedhof, Victim of Illusion, the new tape on DOD Records, Dominance of Darkness. Siegfried is going nuts on this one. But yeah, that's in the back. On to the 12 inches, which are all the picture disc versions. This is the first one. This is called the Grim Alchemy compilation. What this is the compilation of the 3 prior EPs that were put out through Hospital Productions. Drachenblut, Finsterströmung, Seelennacht, and the new one, Waldgestach, I think. I'm not sure. Which is exclusive bonus tracks. So it's 3 EPs and then an extra EP put on this one. Yeah, very nicely produced. This sleeve is actually the closest to what the Old Tower sleeves looked like in the past. Just silver on these reverse cardboard papery sleeves, but it kind of fits. Without being a jackass, in my opinion, this is a collection of basically his sketchbooks for the sound he is transferring into with especially Plague Harvest and then the Old King of Witches, definitely. He is or was, if you know, he is a Dungeons, or he started as a Dungeons and artist, and he was becoming one of the leading figures in that scene. Now, in his own words, he was not particularly happy to stay in that scene or in that style of music, the Dungeons, and because it's all becoming very stagnant and all copy of a copy. So he branched out due to the fact that he was very influenced in his youth by on one side black metal, on the other side the entire Cold Meat Industries group or group of artists that was doing stuff in the 90s that was black metal adjacent but had more to do with noise and industrial and soundscapes and ambient and stuff like that. But yeah, Slipmat that came with it. So yeah, the Grim Alchemy series. Why do I say sketchbook? Because you can hear in the 3 EPs, you can hear him searching for the sound. It is still very Dungeons in some places, but the ambient is creeping in here and there. And then on the Plague Harvest tape, which I was lucky enough to score on tape also through Hospital, but then got released on glorious vinyl. This is the first time, I think, where you can actually hear him departing the Dungeons and realm. It is very much more focused on the field recordings and the ambient and the atmosphere and the soundscapes, if you will, on this one. So yeah, I love this record, and this and the last one, together with a few of the compilations, is I loved what he was doing with the Dungeons, but this is next level stuff, just because it's something very different. But yeah, picture disc once again, support the underground, a slogan we were using forever on this channel in a slightly different version. But yeah, there you go, Plague Harvest. This came out in the middle of the pandemic, so yeah, still one of my favorite releases. Also has this reversed cardboard, flooded in yellow, very nicely put together package by Hospital and by Spectre himself, I guess. Then there was a bonus 10-inch with the Plague Harvest, which was the Ruination, the New Dawn Comets Part 1 and 2. This was a track, or these tracks came from a hard drive that he lost, or that got stolen with a complete album, a complete finished album, but it got stolen out of his house with a bunch of stuff on there, artwork, lyrics, whatever you want to call it, his entire career, as he says on the Noise Extra podcast. This was one of the tracks that was on a different disc or a different drive that was completely mixed, and this is now finally put on vinyl. This was on a late cut, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but it was gone in 60 seconds, if you will. That's a joke. There you go. I don't know how much of that will show up, but the backside has the Dark Music logo running through it. So yeah, cool to finally hear these tracks. And these are older tracks or older material than the Plague Harvest, and I think even the trilogy that came out. And then last but not least, show the CD, but this is the big one, the vinyl, the new album. And this is a monster, if I may say so. The Old King of Witches, I like the title. I like how he looks these days. It's not just the Skiereich wanderer through the forest. He has transformed into the witch, it seems. It is not a gatefold Tom. so don't try. But there's a lot to unpack here. It comes with this big ass poster, once again with the artwork or the pictures by Nona Liman. There you go. And I don't know what they will do with the other stuff, but they are all very good pictures. So that's the sleeve, the poster. It came with this lyric booklet, which has the vellum cover, the same one as the CD, and this new kind of staff-looking logo. And it has lyrics and some more of the pictures, I think. Production on this is outstanding. This is my favorite picture of him. There you go. Some more artwork. The dragon, or the dragon skeleton. You get the picture. The pictures, you get the picture. The photos are all spot glossed on there. Like I said, it is quite the price to put down, or the money to put down, but what you get in return for, you know, 140, 150 is incredible. This is the picture disc version of that one, and I haven't dared to put them on because I don't know what it will be or what it will do sound wise, because it is such a crispy sounding produced record that yeah. Picture discs have come a long way, but you never know. The highest compliment I can give it is that my record to fall asleep to when I had a rough night was always Massive Attack, Mezzanine. Now it has shifted to the old King of Witches. It takes me into a different realm, if you will. The last thing that was in the package was some promo material, another picture by her, and then on the back it has the Departure chandelier, or bi-lamp, if you will, the Akitsa side project. And it comes out on 10-inch, a one-sided 12-inch, a MCD, and a 3-inch CD, coming soon on Nuclear War Now. It had that, it had the new Dawn Comet print. There you go, very nice, with the Hospital Productions. And an old tower stamp, just for the oldies. And then one of the coolest things it had in there was the beaten face of the oak tree, #1, October 2021, a zine of Hospital Productions, but it is all dedicated to Old Tower. There's some other stuff in here. It deals with tours they did together because they played the fest in Denmark and stuff like that. But yeah, rebuilding the underground since '97. I see Akitsa, I see a lot of good stuff in here. Mortis, Jeriglas. Yeah, some very cool stuff. Even Dempstervold shows up here and there. But yeah, like I said, definitely worth getting into. This is something I don't know. It was in here. Your Future Starts Here. Rogue State RSU application from, I don't know what this is. Maybe my draft papers. We'll see. That's it for now. Let's hope next week we won't be in a totally different world once again. It seems that after COVID is done, now the Russian virus is acting up, but yeah, we'll see where that goes. We are going to dance to some Friedhof and maybe have another beer like we usually do. And we'll see you hopefully next week, hopefully with a talk. And otherwise it will be the glorious return of the tape delay. That's it for now. Thank you very much. Another hour of your life wasted away looking at us, looking at me. But yeah, you have some good music to check out. That's it. We'll see you next week. Until then, have a great weekend.